everyone, and welcome to Patrico Stories. In today's video, we are starting one series that I've been planning to do for quite a long time. It's a series on Ayurveda and Ayurvedic body and mental types. I hope you like this series, guys. I hope it helps you and it is interesting to you. So, let's dive in. Alright, to begin with, I want to say that I've already done a brief introduction to Ayurveda. It's in a video called An Ayurveda Story that I'll be linking in the description down below, and you will find in the card right here somewhere. Essentially, in this video, I've talked about elements, how the ancient Ayurvedic teachers perceived nature, the human body, the bonds between the universe and us, and how they studied them in order to make healing through natural means possible. So, a recap on this video is that we'll be talking about the following topics. First of all, we will do a recap on Ayurveda philosophy in terms of elements, qualities and elements included. Then we'll put it all together into the body types. Then we'll move on to the 3 Ayurvedic body types, and I will be sharing with you guys a quiz that I've designed for you in order to find your right body type. This quiz is going to be really fun. It will be down in the description box below, and in the end of the video I will show you how you can do the quiz in order to know which body type you are. So, without further ado, let's dive in. The ancient Ayurvedic texts talk about 5 elements that comprise the whole universe and the human body respectively. These are ether, air, water, fire, and earth. These elements are in constant interaction between one another and with everything that surrounds them. And basically, these are the elements that create everything that we know. Nowadays, we talk about atoms. So if you don't like this elemental theory, you can think of atoms. These are the elements that comprise our bodies, that comprise the living and non-living environment all around us. And this constant interaction that I just mentioned is what helps us and gives us the opportunity to be able to actually interact with these atoms on our own. So basically, healing is done by this quality of interaction between elements. How we heal them, how we enhance them, how we suppress them if they're too much in a quantity, etc, etc. But we'll be talking about this in videos to come. Okay, then next on is the qualities. In Ayurveda, each element has a quality, or rather a set of qualities that make this element what it is. But as basics, you need to know that Ayurveda considers 20 elements that are paired in 10 opposite pairs as follows: heavy and light, cold and hot, unctuous or oily and dry, slow and sharp, stable, mobile, soft, hard, slimy, rough, viscous, liquid, gross, subtle, and cloudy, clear. While these might seem a bit off to you, further in the series you will understand how these qualities come with the elements and how they make up the body types that we will be discussing. One thing you need to know about the elements is that opposites negate opposites. That means that if you have a light quality that is too much, you will then go with the heavy quality that will suppress it. Likewise, there is another principle that states that likes attract likes. That means that if the light quality is very little, by adding light quality, you will make it sufficient. So, 2 principles. The opposite negates its opposite, obviously, and then like attracts and embiggens like. Next on, we have come to the part of the video where we will put it all together. That means we've talked about the 5 elements, and we've discussed briefly the 20 qualities. So now we'll go through the elements and the qualities that are associated with them so that you can understand how Ayurveda views each element. So basically I will be linking down below a PDF on everything that I've shared with you on the screen. Let's go through them element by element, starting with ether. Okay, ether is the element that contains the cold quality, the light quality, the immobile quality, the expansive quality, the subtle quality, and lastly, the lacking substance quality. So how can you understand ether? Ether is everything that lacks substance. If you want to think about it in terms of physics, you can think dark matter. All that is up there in the cosmos that we don't really understand, but it comprises everything and nothing at the same time. So the ancients knew that there is something that simply doesn't have a form, that is expansive all throughout history, but it doesn't have a form, it doesn't have a substance, it is light, it is flowing, and it basically lacks mobility because its expansion is so steady that it feels as if it's not moving, but it is expanding. So think of it as dark matter if you want. Next on, we're moving on to air. The air element is mobile, cool, light, dry, rough, flowing, subtle, sharp, and clear. This means that the air element is the embodiment of lightness. It is flowing, it is that in us and in the environment that feels light, relaxed, that feels ungrounded. We will dive into that more in the video to come. So just remember, air is lightness, it is coolness, and it is mobility. Moving on to the element of water. So what is water like? Well, water is stable, cool, heavy, moist, smooth, flowing, gross, cloudy, and soft. I do realize that those qualities may not really seem to make sense right now, but further on you will realize that these qualities helped the ancients have a meaning behind those elements, and thus when they found these elements in our bodies, they knew what they had to look for, because these qualities are now simply just words, but then when we discuss them further, they will become substances. They will be associated with biochemical processes, they will be associated with physics in our body, with chemistry in our body, so you will get to really understand them, so don't worry about it. About water, what you need to remember is that water has a steady flow. It is soft, it moves at a steady pace, and in opposite to the ether and air, it is not as mobile. It is more steady, it is more grounded. So just keep that in mind when we connect water to one or two of the body types later on. Okay, so what is fire like? Fire is hot, soft, light, dry, rough, flowing, subtle, sharp, and clear. When you think fire, think about energy, think about expansion, and think about burning. Think about something that is so energetically pushed that it can burn out. When we see fire in someone, we will then discuss that this fire element is what makes them get angry, what makes them feel very hungry all the time, what makes their overall metabolic processes feel like moving, flowing, fiery, burning. So just keep in mind that fire is really intense in terms of elemental qualities. And last but not least, we will go through the element of earth. Before we go into the qualities of earth though, imagine what earth is like. Earth is the most steady, balanced and grounded of elements. So the qualities of earth are as follows. Earth is stable, cool, heavy, dry, rough, gross, dense, hard and clear. So, when you think of earth, think of stability. When you think of fire, think of intensity. When you think of water, think of flowing movement, steady movement. When you think of air, think up, up, light, cool, moving. When you think of ether, think expansive, immobile, lacking substance, ungroundedness. So, what is all this? How these elements and their qualities transfer into something that we can call physical body types, because in further videos to come we will be talking about mental types as well. Alright, so we've discussed elements and qualities and we're moving on to the physical body types that Ayurveda considers. As I've already mentioned, these body types are just a set of characteristics that start in elements and qualities and then transfer into biochemistry, physiology, and all those things that we now call scientific terms within our body. So, the three body types that Ayurveda considers are Vata. This body type is associated with air and ether elements. Then there is Pitta, and this body type is associated with water and fire. And lastly, Kapha, which is a body type that Ayurveda associates with earth and water. So let's briefly go through the main characteristics of each body type so that when we later on discuss the quiz, you can know what to search for in terms of your physical body type. Alright, beginning with Vata. So as I've said, Vata is comprised of air and ether. If you remember the qualities that we talked about regarding air and ether, you will find those qualities in the characteristics that you see listed on your screen. So light-colored eyes, small or irregular in shape, bony joints that crack, light thin frame, very flexible, translucent skin, dry skin, thin lips, delicate features, tend to run cold, loses weight easily, and so on and so on. How to remember those things? Well, if you paid attention to those qualities, you will see that all these physical features are really an embodiment of those qualities. If someone loses weight fast and let's say their mind is ungrounded, this is light quality. And it makes sense. If somebody's skin or lips are dried and cracked, well, this is dry quality. If someone moves very frequently and fidgets and so on and so forth, this is the mobile quality. So later on you'll get really to understand how these quality things work in terms of body types. Let's move on to the next body type, which is Pitta. So Pitta, as I've said before, is fire and water. What you can look for in a Pitta body type is a muscular or medium build with medium weight, oilier skin than Vata. They tend to run hot and sweat, obviously fire. They have a penetrating stare, that fiery stare of judgment, let's say. They have oilier hair that tends to be grey or bald earlier because of the fire element. And they have strong digestion, as I've already said before. So, a Pitta person is a fiery person. A Vata person is an airy person. And then moving on to Kapha. So what is Kapha? Kapha is water and earth. It is that type of dosha that is very grounded, very stable, thus with a large body frame, large eyes, strong body, good stamina, good memory, moist, thick and soft skin, oily, luxurious hair. Those people are simply nurtured. Think of Kapha as someone who looks very nurtured, very strong. So, a fast recap. Vata people usually tend to look very slim, a bit nervous, they fidget a lot, they are quite slim, they have this small body frame, and they feel ungrounded. They feel always thinking, always moving and things like that. Pitta people are quite fiery, they are intense, they are always hungry, they have a medium body build, and they basically do things at extremes. And then Kaphas, they are the most stable, grounded of people. They have a strong body frame. They can sometimes be overweight, but in a healthy, stable state, they are the strongest of doshas in terms of endurance and body strength. I know this is a lot of information to process, but bear with this series because things will get more and more clear as we go along in the videos to come. So about the quiz that I mentioned earlier, on your screen right now you will see how to get on it, but it will be down in the description box below, so it's not really difficult. What you will need to do is simply go on our blog, click on the quiz, then go on with the questions, answer them as honestly as possible so that you can gain a more unbiased perspective, and then simply you will get a message which is your predominant body type. Why do I say predominant? Well, because you know these elements, they're everywhere, so you can't expect to only have like fire and water and be exclusively Pitta. No, in reality you are a combination of the 3 doshas or body types, but mainly 1 or 2 will manifest the most within your body. As in the example of me, I am a Vata Pitta person, and we will discuss that later on, of course. So in the next video, expect to see more on mental types, which is also a really nice topic that we discuss in Ayurveda, and it is again centered around the doshas and their qualities and their elements. So I hope you liked this video, guys. I hope it wasn't too much of an information blast for you. I'll be linking everything I can as resources in the description box below so that you can have everything you need in order to revise all of this. If you're interested, please give us a thumbs up, share this, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and stay tuned. Patrick Costa is signing off. See ya!